Welcome back to Jokkmokk. This time I wanted some rain and I have a new tent. Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2. It's a super light dome tent and I want to test it. I want to see how it is to use it because I never used it before, and I also want to see how it works to put it up when it's raining, and I want to see if it's taking in some water, and at the same time I want some nice hiking trip. So it's quite late in the evening and I just walked away from my home and now I'm just a few kilometers away in the forest. And I'm not alone. I'm hiking here together with one of my partners and friends and assistants, and that is Annie. Annie! Come and say hello to YouTube. Here she is. Hello, Annie! Here she is. Hello, Annie! Hey! So I think Annie is happy to be out also hiking. Usually my border collie get very tired when they are wet. And right now here she is super focused. I saw some super fresh elk tracks just earlier. So there is an elk here. If I look here, I can see, you don't know if you see, it's here, look, I don't know, do you see? The leaves start coming. In South Sweden it's totally green now, but here we just put away the snowmobiles. Now I'm just 1 hour away from home, or less than 1 hour away from home. And when you make tours in your close area, or just one day out like this, at least me, I'm packing a little bit too much stuff. I'm not so super careful with what I put in my backpack. I put a little bit too much of something and a little bit too less of something. And it's a very good way of testing out your equipment. It's a very good way to not being so serious. 1 hour, less than 1 hour, and I'm back in my bed if it's necessary. So mistakes don't cost me so much to do here, and I'm learning very hopefully from my mistakes. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be afraid of making the simple tours, because it's with the simple things you start and then you continue and make longer and longer tours. So start here, less than 1 hour from home, and then into Sarek National Park or up to the wilderness somewhere into roadless, you know, Wilbach, yeah, you know. But start with the short ones. So this tent is a big Agnes Tiger Wall, and this is an American tent. You pitch the inner tent first and then you pitch the flyer on top of it. This is not what we are used to do in Scandinavian. Here we pop the both tent at the same time, inner and the flyer. Because it's raining like this, if you pitch the inner tent first and then the flyer, the inner tent is kind of wet. So I have stolen an idea from a guy in Sweden called Fjällanders. Check his YouTube channel. And Fjällanders, thanks for this idea. It's a great idea. And I haven't used this tent before. I have just put it up once. And now we're going to see how this works. I put a link to Fjällanders down in the description, and you should check his channel because he do a lot of funny stuff like this. It's he uses kidney. He's a smart guy. He probably didn't have his things like this, like a mess, like I have, or he maybe had, I don't know. Anyway, now we're going to pitch it like this, and then we see what happens. It's possible to make this if you use the floor also, but if you use the floor, all the rain collects on the floor and you get the wet floor, and then you pitch the inner tent on the wet floor. That's not so nice either. So this is how Fjell-Anders and Matti in Jokkmokk are doing it. This is the Scandinavian style. And then the flyer. It's really wet now and my camera is wet, but this camera should be weather sealed. Come, hey. Oh, you're wet. She don't really like to be wet. And hey honey, hey honey. Varsågod. Ja. So the dinner today is onion that I boil together with the pasta, and then we have some mixed beans that I will add to the pasta when the pasta is ready. And after that we will add 400 gram mashed tomato with chili, and on top of that we add a can of tuna. If I just add some extra pasta, it had been enough for 2 persons. But now I'm one and I eat a little bit less pasta and a little bit more of the other ones, because I don't bring half cans, and yeah, you know. Oops. It's a lot. Look. And, or at least it's a lot for me. I don't know how much you eating. And then the tuna in oil. And as you know, fat is energy, oil is fat. So let's add it. Let's see how it is. It's okay. It's maybe not what I recommend you, or bring black pepper or something. I didn't do that. Everybody on this planet don't have food. Everybody in Sweden don't have food so they can eat enough every day. Think about that. You should be humble and appreciate that you actually have food. If you have food. I don't know your situation. I hope you have food. You know, the world is not fair. I can buy a new tent. I go out here to just see if it's waterproof. Playing around. Other people are homeless and don't have food. When I make pictures and videos of my tent, I have lamps inside. I will show you how I do it, but first I will close the tent so I stay dry. I have something called aperture video lamp. It's actually a lamp that I could attach here on my camera, and that's very good. You see the difference with the light if you have that, and you can adjust it. It's really good if you're filming. I maybe should have it here actually. I'm very often not using it because I prefer to use the natural light. But I also have a head torch, and this one is from Nightcore. It's called NU43. I've been using it the whole winter and it's really good. I will make a dedicated video about head torch for hiking trips. So when you go hiking this summer, it's probably too bright, so you will not get the tent that's shining. But if you have a head torch with you, or you can actually use the telephone, the lamp in the telephone. But if you use the telephone, you can't make picture with it, because usually it's even if you make a picture with the telephone, it will be good looking if you use a lamp inside the tent. Good night, see you tomorrow.
Good morning. Now I'm laying here and my dream comes true. It's raining, so it's been raining the whole night. Quite a lot sometimes. Everything is a little bit damp. No, not everything, but it's very damp air. Very damp. It has been super warm and nice this night, and I've been sleeping quite good, but now my last tea wants to come out and I want some coffee, so I had to open my tent and go out. Yeah, we had to do it. Oh. Oh. Annie have also had a nice night. Hello, Annie. Hey, yay. Annie.
So after a long winter, when the ground have been frozen and covered with snow, you don't have so much smells in the nature that you can smell. And now everything is wet and it smells summer. It's really nice. Now I wanted to smell coffee in my tent, so let's do some coffee. A little bit moisture. My sleeping bag is down and I pack it away now because it will not be drier out here now. Very often when I'm out alone like this, I just use a kind of powder coffee. It's very simple. And in the tent here I don't need things to be more complicated. It smells coffee in here. And that is not bad. That is really good. After this day with rain, it will be no rain for the next 10 days if I'm looking at the weather forecast. So I picked the only day with rain. Isn't that smart? Now I actually wish that I brought the tent with a wood stove, because then you could have had a fire inside, and that's more cozy than sitting in this. But so far, with this new tent, I must show you some of the things that I like with the big Agnes. This is a 2-person tent, and you see it's a big shelf here. You can put stuff here. I put my wet cap from yesterday. This cap is not wool, so I used it when I was hiking. They usually dry faster. And on this side here, it's another small pocket where you can put telephone with earphones out. And then you have the normal pockets down here. These ones you see, one on each side. The ventilation on this tent is all around. There's no ventilation up here, no ventilation on the side. If you know, we also have a review of Big Agnes copper spur. They have a small ventilation, a little bit higher up. The copper spur is a little bit more heavy than this. It's still a super light tent, but it's a little bit more heavy and a little bit different construction. And when I've used this for a while, I will make a video when I compare these two tents, because they are kind of similar, but still not similar. But you know, this is the first night, so I can't make any real review out of it yet. I had to use it first. Otherwise I'm just bullshit talking. What you see, I have one entree on this side for person number 2 and one entree on this side for me. And when you are alone in a small 2-person tent like this, because I think this is a good tent for 1 person, it's still less than 1 kilo. And then I can have my wet backpack here. And now I will start packing up my stuff. And then I open up here and I can pack my backpack and still have my cooking gear out here.
So it makes a good, it's easy for me to work in this tent, really nice. That's a good thing with having a little bit bigger tent than you actually need. Because some of these small solo tents, if you look at this very low, what do you call them, almost beaver bag tent, I don't really get that, because if you have one of these beaver bag tent, you can't cook inside. And if you look at the weight, this Tiger Wall is like 1 kilo, a little bit more maybe, and that's usually the weight of one of these beaver bag tents also. You get a lot of comfort, at least for a few hundred grams, if you get a real tent. But remember one thing, everything is not only gear. It is a lot of gear and a lot of gear talk on YouTube, but everything is not about gears. It's about being out here and what you're actually doing out here. But I'm allergic to backpack that sounds like a Tivoli that's coming through the forest. When you pack, things like this should be silent in your backpack. And you should not hang stuff outside like this, outside the backpack. Everything should go into the backpack. It's only tourists who hanging things outside the backpack. Remember that. Only tourists.
I don't need yoga. I go camping. And when you go camping, yoga comes to you the natural way.
So Annie, are we ready to go out again into the wet forest? You know the feeling when everything is wet from yesterday and it's still raining. And yeah, now we had to take the tent down, pack it in the backpack and start walking back home. Luckily it's not such a long hike back home, so we will very, very soon be home. But anyway, time to start.
there is someone who think it's a bad idea to leave a tent like this. Annie! Hey Annie! Ska vi gå hem? Ja.
Annie is super happy that we finally start walking back home. And I want to say a big thank you to our Patreons who support the channel. And thanks for watching, thanks for thumbs up, leave comment if you want. Feel free to write whatever you want almost. See you next video. Ciao!